Now look at this net that I have found. When I say go, get ready to throw, and go!
I mean... Okay.
And him, not me! Let's try something else. Now watch and learn. Here's the deal. You slip and slide on this banana peel.
I hate memes. Hello guys, what's up? I am Canadia Review here doing another Christmas special for 2016, and you know what that means? It's just gonna be more stressful than special. I mean, what am I doing for this Christmas special that's going to be so different than anything else I've Santa hat. So Shockwave, what are you thankful for the holidays?
I'm not sure, considering the fact that it's no Thanksgiving!
See, that's where you're wrong, okay? Christmas is like Hanukkah, and I don't know what Hanukkah is.
You can clearly tell that this video was well thought out.
You know what I'm thankful for? The stress that Christmas brings. So you know what? Let's bring something stressful. My black heart.
Now look at this tank that I have found. This is Shadow Command Megatron, and if you don't know, this is pretty much a black repaint to the original Revenge of the Fallen Leader class Megatron, which was gray, lots of gray, exclusively gray. I don't hate the gray color scheme, I think it's just fine. I mean, that's what you had in Generation 1. But honestly, I think the black color scheme looks way better in my personal opinion. The only problem is it's not the accurate version, so I'll generally go for the gray version, but for this one, I really wanted the black Shadow Command version for it. And look at that, I finally got it. Fun little fact, this figure from the N.E.S.T Global Alliance lineup was actually an unreleased toy. It was part of the last wave of leader class figures and never actually made an official release. However, our Walmart said otherwise, and it actually was there quite a lot. It was not that hard for me to pick one up, and well, I finally got one. Actually, this was a birthday gift, which is great because it goes for how much? Man, unreleased figures, huh? They really go for a lot. Thank you, Dark of the Moon Leadfoot. Well, I shouldn't really be complaining because I have the figure and he looks pretty good. Now, his proportions are a little too high. I like the squat look of the Voyager Megatron that just looked more accurate to his movie version. Not saying that this is bad, it's just less accurate to that. I mean, just for Megatron itself, it doesn't look that bad. And you know what? The black color scheme really pops. He's got accents of red, just like his Generation 1 toy had accents of red. These giant treads on the side, although if you're going to stick to a plain gray for the back and the feet, don't paint these in silver. Just paint them gray. At least have a match, for God's sakes. I know a lot of collectors who like transforming their figures with their heads last, and well, you're not gonna get a head reveal for this because, well, it's right there. It's right the fuck there. You think he's really hiding with those two little T-Rex arms? Robots in disguise? You ain't fooling me! As a Cybertronian tank, he does have this missile that launches out of the arm, and if you push this button, you sometimes will get a sound effect. As a tank toy, Megatron does have a missile, and actually he has a sound effect. You push the button in, apparently doesn't do anything. Megatron, as a Cybertronian tank toy, has this launching missile gimmick on the turret, and you push the button and it's supposed to make a sound. Oh, I don't have it unlocked all the way. As a Cybertronian tank, he has this giant turret on the top that launches this missile, and when you do, you get that little sound effect. You can launch this without using the sound effect, but it's just so much more fun when you do this. Now the button is activated through the turret and into the body, and it hits this little tab that makes the sound effect. So when you disconnect the turret from that, you will no longer get the sound effect, but at least you can get the articulation for the turret. Just watch out for this a little bit. It will tend to hit stuff, and you have to disconnect the back of this. But yeah, if you want articulation, I mean, it's there. Now this is for robot mode, but if you want, you can bring down this section, and you can also flip out this little blade. There's no real reason for it, but you can do that. If you're lucky, you can actually flip out the blade and get it to hit that button and launch out the missile. Let's see if I can get it. Come on. There we go. It won't work every time, but it worked that time. Megatron has a couple of wheels at the bottom, but normally you're just scraping him on the ground. I do like the little jet boosters on the side. You get these with a lot of articulation, and you also get these big sections right here. I will admit it looks like the robot from Earth to Echo. I know this is weird, but I had him in alt mode. Let's compare him to the Ultra Class Onslaught. And as you can see, Megatron is a lot bigger. I mean, he is a leader class figure after all. I also have a modern figure to compare with him. We have the Hardhead figure, also, I bit my tongue. Also a tank transformer, so that's good. And we also have the leader class Megatron. Now I'm just going to pull back his turret so we can get a good size comparison. And as you can see, yeah, they've shrunk. You might already have the Revenge of the Fallen leader class Megatron, and you might already have an opinion on it. But I gotta say, for the paint deco on this guy, while it's not accurate to what he has in the movie, is very good. The black, the red accents, the root beer brown plastic actually really do work together. Hell, I'm not normally a fan of this root beer plastic used for toys. I don't know, it's just something that I don't like, unless it's a main color for the toy. But for this figure, it really does work. It's like banana is the Megatron, and then the cheese is the paint scheme, and you wrap that cheese around the banana, and it's Mr. Rogers approved. With that out of the way, let's go on to robot mode. Here is Shadow Command Megatron in his robot mode, and yeah, paint-wise, he looks pretty good. Megatron's transformation is simple, and I feel like it should just be like a quick little thing, but it's not fun. I'm a little impatient with this toy, and the reason why is because you have to halfway transform something, and then eventually you'll go back to it, but then you have to half transform something else, and in doing so, you have to stop there and half transform something else. It's not even that time consuming, because it will take me like 2 minutes to transform this thing. It's just the fact that I feel like it should be shorter. And I feel like I'm doing something wrong, and there is a way to make it faster, but it's just, it's not even time consuming, it's just impatient. Maybe that's a nitpick, but I don't know. I don't like just halfway transforming something. I want to get something done and then move on to the next part, move on to the next part, and move on to the next part. Again, that is nitpicking, and they do at least get the robot mode down to some degree, so there's that. He's got the giant arm that we've talked about. It's got a little bit of articulation, move forward and back and then out and in, but once you pull that out, this will unlock from the side. Then again, I guess it's better than just having it locked in there and snap and break. You do get a laser gun sound, but I don't know if something is turned, if that makes sense, because there's a little thing that's connected to a pin that moves with the arm, but it seems to just wiggle around in there. So I don't know if just playing around with it for so long, it's moved out of place, but you move the arm up all the way, and then it makes a blast noise. I don't understand it. Shouldn't it be like right here? But it just doesn't do that. Again, maybe something moved in there and it's just out of place, but if not, that's kind of weird. He does still have the missile launching feature, and I said before, this makes more sense in the robot mode, because now you have this giant claw thing, which is pretty cool, and then you also have this giant blade. It's not accurate to what Megatron had in the movie, but you know what? I'm okay with it. It's just a little play feature, and you know what? It makes the Megatron at least a little bit more fun. The actual issue that I have with the arms is... The biggest issue that I have with the arms is articulation, because when you compare it to the Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Prime, yes, I do understand that there's a gimmick going on here, but when you look at Optimus Prime, it still has the flip-out swords and all the gimmicks, and it doesn't lack in articulation. Yes, you can't really straighten out the elbows once you have the swords in, but once you launch them out, it's fine. I don't know, maybe, again, that's just me nitpicking on the toy, but I feel like this should have more articulation. It's got a play feature in it, so kids will enjoy it, but I feel like they could have added a little bit more, especially compared to the Voyager-class Megatron. As I stated before, this Megatron has some sound effects, and some new sound effects. The Revenge of the Fallen original Megatron had just an I am Megatron, but this one has this.
My father gave me a small loan of $1 million.
Alright, I already made that joke in the Jetfire review, but here we go. Taking a closer look at the gimmick, you'll see some gears turn inside the body. You'll also see these pieces on the chest move. His head will tilt side to side. There's a light flash feature in his eyes and a couple of other places. As well, he will say the line, "There is no command but mine." Let's get a better look with the lights off. Ooh, that looks evil! Taking a look at the legs, you got some rocket things on the side here, and you also have flip-out toes, because, you know, it's not Megatron without flip-out toes. I do understand the option, and this is closer to the 2007 movie version of Megatron, but in Revenge of the Fallen, he had treads for feet, so I'm going to leave it like that. I do understand why people would have it like this. I mean, the gray doesn't even match, but you know what? I just like this. These back parts of the legs just fit inside here. There's a little tab that tries to hold it in place, but it doesn't really do a good job. I mean, sometimes I'll just play around with it and it'll pop out and that will happen. I will say, nice Decepticon logo. And of course, you can't be the leader of the Decepticons without back nipples. There's no foot articulation, but you can move them forward, back, out and in, and you can bend the knee. So, not a lot going in here, but enough to kind of play around, but I wish there was so much more. I do understand that there's no foot articulation due to how they're designed, but I just wish there was a little bit more. You can get him into some okay poses, but he's not gonna look fantastic. The only real good pose you can get is just a little bit turned with his arm pulled back, or just straight. I know I'm complaining a lot in this video, but I've got to say, you know what? There's something I really like about this, and I think what draws my attention to this toy is the paint job itself. It's actually a pretty good paint scheme. It's not just a random paint scheme. Well, it is at the same time, but it's a paint scheme that looks good on him. See, the thing about the original Revenge of the Fallen Leader Class Megatron is, yeah, it was gray, yeah, it was accurate to the movie, and yeah, I had an interest in getting it, but looking back at it, I imagine it's actually a pretty boring toy. I mean, no articulation, no flair, no nothing. Yeah, it's definitely different with the tank tread legs, but other than that, it's not that thrilling. There had been better Megatrons out there, and I still stand to say this is not a great toy. But you know what? The paint scheme really works for it. I think it's got enough play value, but it just needs more. But in its defense, its paint scheme really turns the tide to make me say, you know what, this is actually pretty decent. It's not great, as I said before, but at least decent. Alright, I got a bunch of things to size compare with this guy. We have Leader Class Optimus Prime, and I just stand to the point, this is a much better Optimus Prime. But if you have Optimus Prime and you really need a Megatron and you find it for a good price, you know what? This one's not bad. I definitely would not pay $700 for the damn thing. And let's compare it to a few more things. We have a Leader Class Combiner Wars Megatron. We have an Ultra Class Onslaught. We have a Modern Deluxe Class figure. A few bonus size comparisons. Here is the Masterpiece Sideswipe and the Masterpiece Shockwave. And a Christmas tree because, you know, happy holidays! One last thing I want to show off on the Shadow Command Megatron is this is where the batteries go. And you can see this little panel right here that will go over here, and it just has one screw on the top there, as well as a couple of tabs on the bottom. The reason why I'm showing this off is because I don't know if there's a faulty wire, or there's something going on with the electronics, or there's a battery just messing up somehow. I don't know. But something is messing up with the electronics to the point where it just constantly makes this clicking noise, and I have to bang it just lightly to get it to stop. So I figured it's safer just to take out the batteries. I mean, that's what I've done for the longest time. I've only put them back in just for the review, and now I'm going to take them back out. And with that said, let's move to the final tally!
Overall, would I recommend Shadow Command Megatron? Not for $700 because it's just the Leader Class Megatron painted in black. I do get that it's the unreleased version, but we have the mold for a cheaper price. I don't know, I feel like you can just get that and repaint it. Hell, it's a custom. It's probably gonna be worth more than this. But you know what, for what it's worth, I think that this paint job is pretty good. If you can find a Shadow Command Megatron for the same price as the original Megatron, I would say, yeah, definitely go and get this one. If you're gonna get one of the two, go for this one. But if it's super expensive, no, just go for the original one. But I do appreciate it, because I didn't really pay a dime for it. I got it for a birthday gift. And you know what? I love this thing. It's something that's very hard to find. And you know what? I really appreciate it. With that out of the way, I want to say to you all, happy holidays.
And I'm sorry that the apocalypse is near.
Yeah, what he said. Wait. What?
I don't know. I haven't. I'm a helicopter.